Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Bitcoin self-custody session. This is the advanced session. If you were here this morning, we did the beginner one. So today we'll be taking a look at how to secure your Bitcoin further than we did in the first session. And we'll just do a quick recap of what we did there. Is I explained that Bitcoin is digital money. It's purely digital. It doesn't exist in physical form. So to secure something digital, we use cryptography. Our wallet generates something called a seed phrase, which is a set of 12 or 24 words. And it's impossible to replicate that seed phrase because there's so many possible combinations. And that seed phrase you generate is used to prove that we own the Bitcoin in our wallet, and it gives us the right to spend the Bitcoin in our wallet. And self-custody simply means you are the only owner of the seed phrase. The funds belong to you. If you store your Bitcoin on Valor, it's in their seed phrase. It's not really your Bitcoin. They say it is. It's an IOU. Yeah, so in the last session, we created a wallet in Blue Wallet, and we took the same seed phrase, we put it in Green Wallet, and the Bitcoin appeared in both wallets because a wallet is simply a tool to interact with the blockchain. It's only a tool that stores your seed. Okay. So I've just said this, but wallets store your seed to access your Bitcoin, and therefore Bitcoin security, ultimately, it's all about securing your seed phrase. That's the goal here, is to secure our seed. And self-custody is a journey. There are many ways to structure your Bitcoin setup. If you're just getting started, using Blue Wallet, Blue or Green Wallet, like we did in the beginner session, is perfectly fine. In this session, we'll be taking a look at the more advanced ways to store Bitcoin. And our job is to balance security and complexity. As you increase the security of your setup, it naturally becomes more complex. And your job is to find a balance. You want to, in bold here, have the most secure setup that you're comfortable managing. Okay, so in this session, these are the questions we'll be answering. How do wallets actually work? Hardware wallets, passphrases, multi-sig, and then questions at the end. So what is a Bitcoin wallet? Again, it just stores your seed phrase. It doesn't store Bitcoin. And this seed phrase allows you to receive and send Bitcoin. But it's actually doing a lot of other stuff behind the scenes that it kind of hides from you. You don't really need to know this. Most of us know how to drive a car, but not how the engine works. And modern Bitcoin wallets are the same. It takes your seed phrase and generates private keys and public keys. Do you want a photo of that? Sure. Yeah, so it takes your seed phrase and it generates a private key and a public key and a Bitcoin address. And the seed phrase is used to derive every other key that your wallet needs. These keys are mathematically linked and are used to receive and send Bitcoin, the public keys for receiving and the private keys for sending. You don't need to know this at all because the wallet handles it for you. Just know to keep your seed phrase safe. The seed phrase is essential. I don't shut up about the seed phrase because it's that important. If you have your seed, you have your Bitcoin, ultimately. Okay, so seed security. If your Bitcoin wallet is on a phone or on a computer, that is an internet-connected device. If your phone or computer is hacked, your seed phrase, and therefore your Bitcoin is vulnerable to attack. So that is where hardware wallets came into the mix. These are devices that are built to secure your seed phrase offline. So here I've got two. This is a Cold Card, and this is a Trezor. Trezor is the company that made the first ever hardware wallet right there. This is a much newer version. And yeah, so these devices store Bitcoin, your seed phrase, offline. And they start by generating the seed offline, they store it offline, and they sign transactions offline. And we're going to do a quick Cold Card demo to show you exactly how that whole process works. So I just need to find a way to power this Cold Card up. Yeah. And the first thing you always do, you buy your first hardware wallet, is you generate a seed phrase. And you do this completely on the device. So I can't actually show you this, but I've already generated a seed here. But you buy a Cold Card or a Trezor, the first thing it's going to say is please create your seed. I've done that. I'm just filling in my PIN here. And now I am in my wallet. It's loading. Okay. So the first thing, create a seed phrase on Cold Card. Now we need to, because the Cold Card never connects to the internet, the cold card has no idea how much Bitcoin I have. It can't even receive Bitcoin because it doesn't connect to the internet. It can't display a QR code. I mean, look at the screen. Like, this thing could not display a QR code. So what I need to do is actually export my Bitcoin addresses onto my computer. So on Coldcard, what I just need to do is go over to the export wallet feature. I wish I could somehow share my screen up there, but I can't right now. And then I say Sparrow Wallet. We're going to be using Sparrow Wallet. And I write this file with all my Bitcoin addresses onto an SD card. So this is how it all looks. On the Coldcard, I export my public keys. And now we're going to put it on Sparrow. So that is done. Cool. I just realized I got to, this isn't going to work. I need to put this in the computer. I just got to switch something up. Is that going to work? Let's see. There we go. Okay. So now I have written the addresses to an SD card. The SD card is in my computer. It's called No Name over here. And here is the file. It says Sparrow Export. So I specified to my cold card I'd like to export to Sparrow Wallet. So I'll open Sparrow. And now I'm going to say New Wallet. We'll call this Cold Card Demo. Now this is all a bit complex, but basically what I'm going to do is just import that file. So I'm going to say air-gapped hardware wallet for cold card, and we will select this Sparrow export file and open. Now what I've just done is I've imported the public keys or my Bitcoin addresses. We're at this phase here. So now Sparrow can use that to generate Bitcoin addresses and receive Bitcoin without ever needing the cold card. So I can click apply. We're not going to set a password. And now this is probably going to have some transactions on it. It's actually got all my Bitcoin in it, so we should see. I'm joking. Yeah, there's no Bitcoin in here, hopefully. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I'm on the wrong Wi-Fi here. I'm on the guest one. 1 second. This is Mulvad. They accept Bitcoin, so that's you can pay them in Bitcoin. And let me actually just cancel that. Yeah, so this is called a view-only Bitcoin wallet. It can only view the balance in the cold card. The cold card stores the seed phrase, so basically the Bitcoin is in here right now. If there were Bitcoin, we're going to see it's connecting to the internet. It is connecting. What is going on here? Yeah, well, it's connecting anyway. So if I did have transactions that show here, I can go to my addresses tab, and here are all the Bitcoin addresses in this wallet. So I'm actually just going to change my... Yeah, so we've got two transactions here from the past. This was just obviously me doing some other demonstration. I had some Bitcoin coming in and Bitcoin going out. And now, let's receive some Bitcoin here. So I'm going to make Sparrow nice and big. And if I click on settings as well, we see this is an air-gapped wallet using Coldcard. This doesn't store Bitcoin. It's view only. So if I click receive, it can show me a Bitcoin address. And I'll quickly send some funds over from a wallet on my phone. Yeah, I just sent from Blue Wallet. This Bitcoin address you can send from anywhere to this Bitcoin address. So if you're using Luno, Valor, or a different wallet, you click receive in Sparrow, and it's going to display an address, and you just send from wherever you're using. In this case, I had some Bitcoin in Blue Wallet for the demonstration earlier, so I've used that balance. Now, if I click on transactions, we can see we have some Bitcoin, about 167 Rand in this wallet. And now, let's take a look at how to send Bitcoin. We're going to see that this is view only. I can't actually send Bitcoin without my cold card. So I'll click on send. I'm going to send back to my, so here in Blue Wallet, I'm going to click receive. Here's my Bitcoin address. And now it's got my address over here. So I'm sending to this address. I'll set a label like demo, and I'll send the whole amount. And yeah, at this point, we can only create a transaction. And that's what we're doing here. We're building a transaction to send Bitcoin, and we need to export that transaction to the cold card to give it a signature. So I'm going to create transaction, finalize for signing. And now, if you were using Sparrow with a seed phrase, you could click sign. You could authorize the transaction and say, let's go. But we can't. There's no seed phrase here, so I need to save transaction, and I'm going to save it to my SD card. Okay. Now, if I take a look in my SD, we have this demo.psbt file. I called it demo earlier, so that's why it's saved as demo. And PSBT stands for partially signed Bitcoin transaction. Don't worry about that. You don't need to know that. So I'm going to eject this SD, and then we can move that SD over to the cold card now. Yeah, you can have multiple cold cards with the same seed. Yeah. So maybe you have one cold card at home and one in an, I just unplugged this whole thing, one in an external vault or something. Yeah. If there's any other questions while I sort this all out, go ahead. Yeah, so it doesn't connect at all to the internet. Yeah, I just power it. No Bluetooth. It's SD card is how you communicate. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I'll actually pull up this thing again. So we've received Bitcoin in Sparrow. Now we send the transaction using Sparrow, but I forgot to mention that we need to sign it with the cold card. So this will display it. We sign the transaction offline in cold card, and that's where we are right now. So I'm just going to basically click here, sign transaction right now. And it's asking me, are you okay to send the Bitcoin? I am, so I'll click OK. Yeah, it gives you quantity, the output address, and all that information. So that's a good point. You should probably check that. If you're sending a large amount, yeah. So what you would do is, let's say I'm sending to Luno, I would just double check that my Luno address on my phone matches what I'm seeing there. And yeah, so it's a small amount. I don't mind losing it if it's wrong, but let's see. Okay. It just said to me, transaction signed. So now what I'm going to do is pull out the SD card. And this thing contains my signed transaction now. And the cold card never touches the internet at any point. All it does is, it uses my seed phrase to sign things offline and so on. Let me plug this back in. Okay. Yeah, so now I have the signed transaction here in my SD card. It is called, these two files are the signed transactions. This one here is the unsigned one. This is what we exported from Sparrow. That does not contain a signature. Now, using the seed phrase, my cold card did everything it needed, a whole bunch of complex math and stuff you don't need to know. And it created these two files. Now, you can use, these are both signed transactions. You can use either one. So what I'm going to do is simply in Sparrow here, say load transaction, and just select this one here, signed, and click on open. And now here you see signatures. It's got like a blue bar that filled up slowly. I've got a signature from my seed phrase on Coldcard. So Sparrow's like, yes, correct. You've used a valid signature to sign this. If I used a seed phrase that did not belong to this Coldcard, if I imported a different seed, it wouldn't work. It just simply wouldn't allow me to sign it. So now I can click on broadcast transaction. And if I look in my blue, give it a refresh. Yeah, so we had Bitcoin outgoing. You can't really see. We had one outgoing Bitcoin, and now we have one incoming. Okay. Yes, yeah. Yeah, so actually not when I sign the transaction. When I first plug it in, you need a PIN to get into the device. Okay. Yeah, so that is basically how hardware wallets work. Now, a device like Trezor, where is it here, plugs into your computer, and it makes it a lot easier to do the whole process. Coldcard is something called air-gapped. It never plugs into a computer at all. We use SD card. And the SD card, the reason I did that demo is to show you, like, literally it's signed offline away from the computer. You know, I could have this Coldcard in another country, and it could sign the transaction. It doesn't need to be near this computer of mine. Okay. So this is just to like reinforce what everything is doing. Sparrow's not a hot wallet. Sparrow's a wallet on my computer. It's internet connected. It stores public keys and Bitcoin addresses only. It can view my Bitcoin balance, but it can never spend Bitcoin. It's not allowed to. My Coldcard stores the seed phrase, but it cannot view my Bitcoin balances because it doesn't connect to the internet. There's no way for it to know how much Bitcoin I have at all. It probably doesn't even think I have Bitcoin, and it's needed to spend my Bitcoin though. Okay. Now, most of the wallets you have used in the past, the wallet setup we've just used right now, work like this. They have one single seed phrase that unlocks your wallet. So this thing right now has got, I think, a 24-word seed phrase. Earlier we did a Blue Wallet demo, which was just a set of 12 words. With those words, you access your coins. There's a problem, though, that if your seed phrase is a single point of failure, and if someone steals your seed, your Bitcoin's gone. If someone finds your seed, your Bitcoin's gone. There's a whole bunch of ways your Bitcoin can be gone. If you expose your seed, your Bitcoin's gone. If you lose the hardware wallet, so this does have a PIN. If I lose my hardware wallet and the attacker has the PIN as well, my Bitcoin's gone because they have my seed. It's stored on the Coldcard. So for advanced users, if you have hardware and a larger amount of Bitcoin, you can upgrade your security further on top of having a seed phrase. And that is by adding a passphrase or doing multi-sig. So we'll discuss these both now. I think we must remember that Bitcoin, as you increase the security of your Bitcoin setup, it becomes naturally more complex. And you need to balance security and complexity. So multi-sig is very complex for most people. There's a lot of ways we call it shooting yourself in the foot. There's a lot of ways to mess multi-sig up. So it's not for everyone. If you're not Michael Saylor, perhaps multi-sig isn't for you and it's a bit too much. So we'll talk about passphrases first. And a Bitcoin passphrase adds an additional layer of security on top of your seed. To unlock your Bitcoin wallet, you need the seed phrase and the passphrase. They're two separate things. So a set of 12 words, perhaps, and your passphrase can be anything. You need both. Someone can steal your seed phrase, but with no passphrase, they can't have your Bitcoin, and that removes the problem with a seed phrase, which is a single point of failure. And of course, this increases your complexity a bit, but not too much. It's quite manageable, this type of setup. And this is just an example of how it would look. Your 12 words plus your passphrase creates your final wallet. And here are some examples. This is a seed phrase, probably created in Blue Wallet, I can't remember. And this is just a random passphrase I made up in this presentation. And together, they unlock my wallet. If you have only the seed, it can't unlock your wallet. You need both. If you have only the passphrase as well, no access. And the good thing about the passphrase actually is that your seed phrase alone, it acts as a perfectly functional Bitcoin wallet. So what some people do is they'll have a seed phrase. Let's say I've got a seed phrase on me right now with Bitcoin in. I'll put a little bit, 10% of my Bitcoin in there. So if someone finds it, they think, I've got his whole Bitcoin stack. I'm going to completely ignore the guy now. I've robbed him, job's over. They don't know that there's a passphrase. And that unlocks my hidden wallet. It's hidden. No one, it's secret. It's a super good way to have a decoy. Now, if you do use a passphrase, there's a few important things you have to understand, in that a passphrase can be any character. So you can have characters, lowercase, uppercase, numbers, letters, and so on, but it's highly sensitive. If you make a single mistake, it's going to unlock a separate wallet completely. For example, so 24 words plus the word South would make a wallet. 24 words plus Southern Bitcoiner is another separate wallet. And then you'll see here, I've just made two case differences. The S and the B are capitals. That will unlock a completely new wallet with no Bitcoin in. If the Bitcoin's here, there's no Bitcoin there. And yeah, we'll do a quick demo in Sparrow Wallet to show this, but we'll use this passphrase. But yeah, we'll quickly run through this. So I'm going to create a new wallet in Sparrow, and we'll call it demo passphrase. Just demo pass. Okay, I'm going to create a 12-word seed phrase and click on generate. So this is my seed phrase component. You should never ever screenshot your seed phrase, but I'm going to do that. Never do that, just because it makes my life a bit easier for this demonstration. Okay. So I'm going to confirm backup and then re-enter words. And yeah. Sparrow is a bit more of a complex wallet, by the way, so if this looks unfamiliar to you, don't worry about it. It works just like something like Blue Wallet. Blue Wallet just looks a lot easier. I'm not sure. Passphrase on Blue is definitely possible. I'm not too sure about green. Probably though. Yeah, still hot, yeah. I forgot to add a passphrase. I'm a bit stupid, but anyway. Anyway, so this is just the 12-word seed phrase. We'll see that if I look at my addresses, these are going to be different from when we load a passphrase. So I'm going to, I should have called this demo like seed phrase, but let's just do a new wallet now, a new wallet. And now I'm going to import this existing seed. So okay, now I forgot to do this in the last wallet, but you need to click on use passphrase over here and then add a passphrase. Now, it's saying here any variation entered in future loads a valid wallet, but with different addresses. So that's just saying any variation, like a different capital letter, is going to unlock a separate wallet from what we're creating now. So I'm going to say yes, add passphrase, and what did we want to set it to? I think it was demo Sparrow. Sparrow demo, so I'm just going to copy that. Oh no, Sparrow demo, I'll type it in. Sparrow demo, okay. Okay. So this wallet over here is simply a set of 12 words that unlocks the whole thing. as this photo shows. Where was it? This seed phrase unlocks your wallet. That is this one. If we look at our Bitcoin addresses, the top one starts with like JM3U. We'll look at that later. But if I go to demo passphrase now, this has a seed phrase and a passphrase, as shown in this photo here. And if we look at my Bitcoin addresses here, these addresses are completely different from just the seed. So this is 9LX8, and in my normal one is JJM3U. So any Bitcoin in the passphrase wallet will not show in the main one, is what I'm trying to say here. And if you give someone your seed phrase, this is what they'll see, this wallet with no Bitcoin. If I put Bitcoin in here, then I need both the seed and the passphrase to recover. So the passphrase is a great way if you could have your seed phrase at home with a bit of Bitcoin in it. Someone enters your home and says, give me your Bitcoin, you give them the seed phrase. And then they don't know, oh, there's actually another secret hidden wallet here with the real balance on. And that's what passphrases are great for. They reduce that single point of failure. And now I would show you this another demonstration. It will take a while though, but if I were to create this wallet again and just make one single typo, I spelt with a capital instead of lowercase, it would unlock a different wallet completely. It wouldn't unlock this same one. Okay. Next, yeah, we've done this, is multisig. And multisig uses multiple seed phrases to create a Bitcoin wallet. You can pick how many seed phrases are involved, and commonly people will do 2 of 3. So they'll create 3 Bitcoin seed phrases, and any 2 of those 3 seed phrases are required to spend Bitcoin. And this reduces completely any single points of failure. So someone would need to steal 2. Let's say you had a multisig setup with 1 seed in Durban, Joburg, and Cape Town. If someone wants to steal your Bitcoin, they need to steal 2 of your seeds, which of course is very difficult if you've got them in different parts of the country. If you lose 1 seed phrase, let's say something happens in Cape Town, I don't know, something bad happens in Cape Town, you can still spend the Bitcoin. You just have to go to Durban and Joburg or have someone there to help you out. And multisig allows for this geographical distribution. Nobody can enter a single place, like your home in Cape Town, without the other seeds and steal your Bitcoin. Now, multisig has there's a lot more to this than what it seems right now. You need to have all the public keys, which is just like, it increases your complexity a lot. You may not need 3 seed phrases, but you need 3 public keys to spend your Bitcoin. So I say multisig is complex, and it's for advanced users, although it's storing multiple millions, and we'd probably need a whole session to actually properly look into multisig. But yeah, for most people in South Africa, you've got a good portion of Bitcoin. Simply having a cold card or a Trezor with a 24-word seed phrase and a passphrase is enough. If someone enters your home, just have a fake balance on the seed, and the passphrase is that hidden stuff. And you need to put them in different parts of the house. If you store your seed phrase with your passphrase, it's kind of useless, because if they find your seed, then they've got the whole wallet anyway. There's no point. The same goes for multisig. If you have 3 seeds in your house, what's the point of multisig? It's like you might as well have a single sig. You might as well have 1 seed phrase. And yeah, there's no point in this. One thing that's good about passphrases is that it's completely impossible to tell if it exists, the passphrase. With multisig, it's very obvious. If I entered someone's home, I won't do that, but if I were to, I could instantly tell if their Bitcoin wallet is multi-signature or not. Not the same for passphrases. So I'm of the opinion that passphrases are good for most people. When it comes to passphrases, if you do go that route, you need to make sure it's sufficiently secure. So your passphrase can't be the word password. That's not good enough. It's going to, if someone finds your seed, they can essentially try a whole bunch of passwords until they guess your passphrase, and there goes the Bitcoin. So it needs to be sufficiently secure, it needs to be random, and it needs to be easy to back up. If I do the passphrase with like a whole bunch of random characters, like let me think of an example here. So if I like put this as my passphrase, like the first 10 characters here, that would be super hard for me to back up and write down and remember and recover into my cold card. So for me personally, this is a personal story of mine. I used a passphrase at one point that was something like this. It was completely random, and it wasn't a good passphrase because I forgot it. But I had one backup with me, and it was incorrect. I had a 0 instead of an O or something, and I didn't know. I thought, okay, there goes my Bitcoin. I'll have to start again. I was away at the time. I went back home. I tried my backup at home, and that worked. And I was very happy that it did. So ever since that day, for passphrases, I use simple words that are easy to write down, recover, and back up. Words like dog, cat, hat, mouse, whatever. Between 6 and 8 words, human readable words, are sufficient for a Bitcoin passphrase. You don't want to do this. This is more secure. It will stop somebody from guessing it, but really, like, you want to make sure that you can guess it too. Well, not guess it, remember it. And yeah, that is passphrases. So that went a bit quicker than I expected. We probably could have done a whole multi-sig thing. And no, not a whole multi-sig thing, but that's all. So if there's any questions. Yeah, so I always opt for 24 words. And this is quite a confusing topic, but because in theory they're the same. In theory it doesn't actually matter because your seed phrase derives a private key, which derives a public key. Let me go back to that slide. And now to work backwards from a public key to a private key it's the same security as 12 words. So if someone has this, they have to do 12 words worth of like brute force to guess that. But so 24 words is much more secure than that type of encryption. So 24 words only stops people from just outright guessing your seed phrase, if that makes sense. It's a bit of a confusing topic, but generally I just opt for 24 words. You sleep better at night, I guess. So that's it. Yeah, and there was another. Yeah.
So we talked about the actual sort of device, so there's a seed phrase generated. Yeah. I'm guessing you can see that seed phrase, right?
Yes, yeah.
Now the question always now comes is, how do you secure the seed phrase? You leave it in the device and then sort of like keep the device somewhere, and in case of a multi-sig setup, get another one with a different one. Are you writing it down somewhere? What do you think is the
Yeah.
most secure way of storing that?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. I'm very glad because I did forget to mention backups. So I'm glad you asked that so I could just remind everyone you should write down your seed, back it up somewhere safe because hardware does not last forever. This device, I could spill a coffee on it right now, and if I didn't have this backed up, my seed phrase backed up, the Bitcoin's gone. In terms of the best way to back it up, the answer is in metal. There's a lot of people these days, there are a lot of solutions that can put your seed phrase in metal. So I'll show you an example. These guys here. They sell like a little kit where you can put your seed in metal, and if there's a fire, it's all tested against fire, corrosion, water damage. There's your seed. So this is cryptosteel.com. So many people sell backups these days. Like there's a whole entire industry dedicated to selling these. I like these guys because you can actually change the seed phrase. In future, if you get a new wallet, where other solutions you actually stamp it in. So if we look at the backup that Coldcard sells, Coldcard. So it's just loading, but we'll see in a second. ColdCard sells these seed plates, and you actually have to use this punch to punch it in. And once your seed phrase is in, it's permanent. You can't change that. So if you ever decide to get a new wallet, maybe your wallet's compromised and you need a new one, you can't just create a new one. That's why I prefer one of these things. For a passphrase, if you're using a passphrase setup, you probably also want that in metal too, and that just ensures, of course, anything happens to the passphrase as well, you're safe no matter what. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't. The guy from Trezor is here. He did a workshop in the previous session. I didn't do the Trezor, just basic hardware. I mean, phone wallets. But yeah, I think Trezor and ColdCard are some of my favorites. A very common device is the Ledger, but the key issue with Ledger is that the source code is private. No one can actually view what your Ledger is doing. Trezor is completely open source. We know the code on this device, which means anyone can tell it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. ColdCard is something called source viewable, so you can see the code, you're just not allowed to use it. So in terms of preferred setup, I like to set up beginners on Trezors if they're just getting started, one of these things, because the ColdCard can be quite complex, and if they're getting used to this thing and they might want to upgrade their security a bit further, ColdCard. I find ColdCard to be more secure than Trezor, but it's like the Trezor is already so super secure that it's like it's only marginally more secure. So yeah, ColdCard or Trezor, and then if you're worried about a single point of failure in your seed phrase, you add a passphrase. Yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's not that you have 2 points of failure. It's that we would assume that you bought a Trezor because of the Ledger issues. Is that right? Yeah. So you. Yeah. So because you've imported the seed from Ledger to Trezor, it's already touched the Ledger. So basically, you buying the Trezor it was ultimately useless. It wasn't actually an upgrade. So what you would have to done is create a new seed in Trezor and move funds from Ledger to Trezor. And if you were to upgrade to ColdCard as well, for example, you create a new wallet in Sparrow and you send funds over rather than importing the seed. Yeah, so do you have seeds in both devices right now? Yeah, so then you can, it's easy. You wipe the seed phrase off the Trezor, generate a new one from scratch, and then just move funds from Ledger to that new seed. Yeah. The funds would exist in both Ledger and Trezor. Yeah, so just send from the Ledger. Yeah. We had another question. What's that? How many? Oh, okay. Good question. Yeah. So Trezor stores multiple coins. ColdCard is Bitcoin only. So that's why it's built specifically for Bitcoin. So if you are securing only Bitcoin, that's another positive, because the Trezor has so much more code running on it that there's more attack surface. The developers are focusing on 1,000 different things, where the ColdCard devs are focusing on Bitcoin. So yeah, it's Bitcoin only, and if you're Bitcoin only, that's got its pros. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Blockstream. Yeah, it's definitely a good option. I probably should have mentioned that on top of ColdCard as well. It's Bitcoin only. I just set up my Jade, and I think the user experience it was frustrating for me. So that's why I prefer the cold card. I started it and I gave up. I didn't finish it. So I've got this Blockstream Jade sitting at home that I never fully set up. Yeah, so it's going to do the job. It's going to secure your Bitcoin securely, but I think the user experience isn't as good. That was a year ago. Probably it's better now. Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, probably. I think it is. I should pick one up, and maybe I won't get so frustrated this time. Yeah, we had another question. So, yeah, Flip. I would have to. Let me quickly see. Add now. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can. I know for Blue Wallet you can import a wallet with a passphrase, but it looks like you actually can't create a passphrase wallet on Blue. Yeah. You mean like create a passphrase wallet? Yeah, probably best to use Sparrow then. If you're going to do passphrases, and that's if you don't have a hardware wallet. Best case you have a hardware wallet, and that you add the passphrase on there. Yeah. Yeah. Any? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're using Sparrow Wallet or something like Blue Wallet, and you get a hardware, you must create a new wallet from scratch. We always assume if a seed's touched a device and that device is compromised, the Bitcoin is too. That's just an assumption. Now, with Bitcoin, I always operate under the highest degree of, what's the word? Paranoia. So if my seed's touched a ledger, I'm like, no, thank you. I'm creating a new seed phrase. So because it's touched an internet-connected device in the past, you can assume it's compromised, even if you've deleted it today. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So in that case, if that wallet I just set up a minute ago, if I lost the cold card and I lost my computer, I'd buy a new cold card, or perhaps I'd just use Sparrow, and I'd import the seed, and then I could export, like in these steps, when we exported the public keys, I'd just do that SD card transfer again, and then it would show back in my Sparrow. Yeah, this process here. Yeah, we'd export the public keys back on Sparrow, and we'd just where we left off. Yeah. Yeah, I think we had a. Yeah, cold cards are made in Canada. They ship from Canada, but one of the guys running this conference has a website, bitcoinonly.io. So yeah, bitcoinonly.io is a place to buy Bitcoin hardware and stuff. Let's see what they have. Okay, so they have a Jade in stock. They don't have the cold card, so you'll have to order it from Canada, and it can be a bit pricey because you also have to pay the import tax. But if you've got a substantial amount of Bitcoin, it's worth it, to just have that peace of mind. Yeah, they've got a seed sign. Yeah, Blockstream Jade is probably your best bet if you're local. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? Any? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely true. Sparrow is built to kind of show you everything. It's like earlier I made the example of you drive a car but you don't necessarily know how it works. Sparrow assumes that you do know how the car works, how the wallet works. But you know what? You can ignore a lot of this stuff and still use Sparrow. There's things in here I don't quite understand. Like, for example, if I click on addresses, there's all this stuff here, like required script pub key. For me, for a user like myself, I don't need to know what that is, but I still find Sparrow immensely beneficial for my daily use. It's just the best. It's the best wallet available at the moment, and it's really cool that someone from, I don't know if you know, but the guy's from South Africa. He's here today. So this software probably stores billions of dollars in Bitcoin, and the developer, obviously, he can't access that Bitcoin, but he's here today. So yeah, I think it's worth trying to understand it, and you don't be intimidated by this random stuff. You don't necessarily need to understand it all. I have no idea what an output descriptor is. No idea. But I just ignore it. And I still, Sparrow is the best wallet for me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it depends. So Sparrow is so great because it can basically do anything you want. And you can use Sparrow as a hot wallet where it stores your seed phrase, but you can also use it in conjunction with a cold wallet. You can make it a view-only wallet. So it would depend. There's tutorials for anything on Sparrow, definitely. It depends on how you wanted to use it. So we could run through a quick Sparrow demo right now. I'm sure we've got time. I don't know if anyone's after me. There's no queue outside. So we could run through that as well. But it's definitely worth getting used to it. And depending on how you want to use it is how you, like the videos you'll have to search for. So for example, on YouTube, I've got a video on how to use Coldcard with Sparrow. Yeah, and that will do the job. I have a video on Coldcard plus passphrase on Sparrow. So basically everything we've discussed is I've got videos on, and then there's also BTC Sessions in Canada. He makes great videos too. And yeah, you can find it all there. Sparrow's Bitcoin only, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Sparrow's desktop only. It would be quite hard to display all this info that it shows in a phone app. Yeah, that's correct, yeah. So the correct website to go to is sparrowwallet.com. Yeah, so can you see the URL? Yeah, up here, sparrowwallet.com. And then, of course, you would just click download. And then you select whatever you're using. So I'm on Mac OS. I would select one of these. If you're running Windows, select this, and there you've got Sparrow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by Coldcard and Trezor, or yeah, Sparrow. Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah, that's a good setup. Yeah, you can also, if you're using Trezor, just using the Trezor suite's also enough. Sparrow and Trezor Suite are just view wallets for the device itself. I just find that Sparrow's it shows you more details. So if you are intimidated by Sparrow, then it's perfectly fine to use Trezor Suite. There's no security difference. It's a preference, mostly, yeah. The UTXO set. Exactly, yeah. So here in Sparrow, you've got the UTXOs tab. Yeah, so you can also find this in Trezor. It's like hidden away almost, because Trezor prioritizes like ease of use, making it look nice and stuff, but Sparrow doesn't hide it from you. The whole car thing again. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, cold wallet, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the one we created earlier. Let me open it up quickly. Yeah. 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 So Sparrow does. So Sparrow, yeah, yeah. So Sparrow keeps this wallet file I've just opened. It keeps it stored in Sparrow wallet itself. So you would have seen now a second ago. I went. If I go to the home screen, I said open wallet, and then I selected the Cold Card demo wallet. If I had Bitcoin in here, it would appear. Yeah. Yes. Eh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a like if you wipe your laptop or um, if your laptop is stolen, the file remains there. But it's only yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. So as soon as so you would have seen here, I created this transaction in 2024, and I just right now using my seed phrase cold card, I exported it and it imports my history. Yeah, yeah. 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 So even if I had a completely different computer, it would look exactly the same. And that's because it's fetching this information. These transactions are from Bitcoin's blockchain. So my computer simply connects, well, Sparrow connects to the blockchain, and then it tells me what the transaction history is. So if I export this public key onto any computer, it could be my computer, it could be my phone, it could be your computer, it's going to look exactly the same as this. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have another question? Or? Yeah. Yeah. So with multisig, you can actually pick. It's completely up to you. Let's do another Sparrow demo here. File, new wallet. We're not actually going to do a full-on multisig setup here, but if I change this to multisig, you can see, you can actually pick how many seed phrases are required. So it's very common to do a 2 of 3. Sparrow defaults to 2 out of 3. Do you see over here? 2 out of 3. So you could change this. Another very common one is 3 of 5. And this would create 5 seed phrases where 3 are needed to spend. And what's best for you is like, it's something you need to assess and, figure out who can we rely on to store a seed phrase or not. And yeah, you have to kind of answer that with yourself and with the people storing the seed phrases. But very commonly, it's 2 of 3 or 3 of 5 is typically best. Yeah. 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 So Lightning is for. Yeah. Lightning is built for like cheap, fast transactions. So if you're going to pick and pay and you need to spend some Bitcoin, use Lightning. Whereas for your long-term Bitcoin stack, for holding Bitcoin, you always use like we call it on-chain. So your hot wallet on Blue or Sparrow. I would keep most of my Bitcoin in one of these wallets on-chain, and then a small amount in Lightning for spending. Yeah. Oh yeah, it can be quite. It depends on Bitcoin's fees. Bitcoin's fees can fluctuate a lot because it's purely supply and demand. If everyone in the world decided to transact on Bitcoin tomorrow, fees would go to insane levels. Like it would be super high. So it depends on that, but it can be quite substantial if Bitcoin fees are high. Yes. Yeah, Lightning's consistently cheap. Yeah. Oh, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure how much it fluctuates, but it's most of the time it's like under under 1 rand to do a transaction. Where in Bitcoin earlier today, when I sent you Bitcoin, it cost me 45 rand actually in the fee. Yeah. I paid 50% in fees. Yeah. And but I probably Blue Wallet. Some wallets tend to put the fees super high, just so that they don't get customer support complaints. You know, they like get emails like, "Why is my Bitcoin not confirmed?" So they'll make the fees a bit higher than they should be. And if I actually went and changed the fee, the transaction still would have gone through for a lot cheaper. So Blue Wallet will sometimes just make you charge a little too much. So yeah. Bitcoin fees are priced dependent on how much space you take on the blockchain. So if you have a transaction that requires a lot of storage on the blockchain, you pay more. It's not a percentage of the amount. So, yeah, this is a hard thing to explain, but that, yeah, if you receive Bitcoin, say for example you receive Bitcoin 100 times, and it's stored in 100 addresses, and you send the entire Bitcoin balance, you have to tell the blockchain, I'm spending from this address, this address, this address, this address, this address, and I'm sending to this address. That's going to take a lot of space. A lot of space. So that will be much higher than if I received all the Bitcoin in one address and spent that will be 100x cheaper. Yeah, so it's space dependent, not amount dependent. Yeah. Yeah. So they would take the transaction, they'd put it in a Bitcoin block, and you pay your fee. They collect the fee, and they say, okay, we're going to put you in a block now and confirm your transaction. And yeah, someone's mined it a long time ago by now, yeah, and they got the $50, yeah. And they probably confirmed like 3,000 transactions in that block. So let's look. Yeah. Mempool. Oh, that's Google Meets. Mempool. So this is just a way to visualize Bitcoin's blockchain. We see 22 minutes ago a block was mined. It contained 4,000 transactions. And if they paid $50 each, I don't know what the math is. Someone do the math. 50 times 4,000. But yeah. Yeah, we had a question. What's that? Yeah, let me open my slides from earlier. The beginner's session. Is it this one? Yeah. So a lot more slides in the last session. So yeah, if you're just getting started, you've been in Bitcoin for a few months, you've got a little bit of Bitcoin, it's completely fine to store your wallet. Use Blue Wallet or Green on your phone in Sparrow. Then once you've got a bit of a stack going, you've been investing monthly for, I don't know how long, it depends how much you're doing per month, 12 months maybe, then you buy one of these things. And it depends on how much Bitcoin you have. This thing might cost you about 5,000 Rand to import after tax. If you have 5,000 Rand in Bitcoin, don't buy it. I mean, there's no point. So this costing 5 grand, maybe you need 50,000 Rand to warrant the purchase. So it's not for everyone, but once you've got sufficient Bitcoin, I think it's an upgrade you should make. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, you can. So you can have account 1, account 2, account 3, and you name them my account, my son's account, whatever, and they all belong to the same seed phrase, yeah. So you can do that in Trezor and in Cold Card and in Sparrow. So, yeah. For the passphrase. Yeah, that is possible. But if you're, if unless your kid's name is 20 characters long, it's not very secure. So, yeah. But that is, yeah. You could do that for sure. Each child has their own passphrase, but then you're not really relying on the passphrase for security. It's more to segregate the accounts. Yeah. So definitely possible. I'm not sure. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Most devices only store one seed at a time. Yeah. So the passphrase isn't actually stored on this device. So in theory, you could have 1 billion passphrases because it doesn't store them. Would just have to load it. You have to load it up each time. Manually insert when you want to spend. Yeah. You can use Trezor with a whole bunch of apps, yeah. So you could use it. Exodus is long time ago. Trezor didn't have their own application. That was nice. So that's why people used Exodus. Now you can Trezor's got their own app, or you could use Sparrow, or you could use, Trezor, Exodus, and Sparrow are good options. I would probably use Trezor Suite. Yeah. Yeah, the Trezor Suite, yeah. So if you go to their website, their official website, you can say like download app or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Nothing. Okay. Yeah, so I guess that's it. I guess we were about an hour because we started 20 minutes late. So, yeah. Thank you. And if you want to come ask me a question, I'm around. So, yeah.